Pest control. An ecosystem is all the living and non-living parts of an environment. In a crop field, there's an agricultural ecosystem at work. We call it an agroecosystem. The crop plant is the dominant species, but relationships exist between the living things in the field, such as organisms on plants, in the air, and in the soil, and non-living things in the field, such as the soil, the air, and nearby water sources. Some parts of the agroecosystem are harmful to the crop plant, while others are beneficial. For example, harmful nematodes can live in the soil side by side with beneficial organisms like earthworms. Diversity is important to any ecosystem because it helps make the ecosystem stable. In a forest, there are many different plant species. One pest cannot destroy every species. Agroecosystems contain little diversity, so they're less stable. In an agroecosystem, one pest can destroy an entire field. The less diverse environment can actually benefit the pest. Crop consultants and insect scouts monitor interactions among the plants, the soil, and the surrounding environment. They can then advise farmers, ranchers, and foresters on the best way to use pesticides to get rid of agricultural pests. Widespread long-term use of pesticides can damage the agroecosystem. Science has helped us understand that when pesticides pollute soil, water, and air, they can also harm beneficial parts of the agroecosystem and the health of consumers. And pests can develop resistance to pesticides, which renders chemical pest prevention ineffective. Farmers today manage pests using a wide range of management practices. We call this Integrated Pest Management, or IPM. The goal of integrated pest management is to optimize the cost of producing, harvesting, and marketing a crop while causing the least amount of disturbance to the agroecosystem. IPM involves practices that are cultural, biological, physical, mechanical, chemical, and regulatory. Cultural management focuses on preventing disease by starting with good hybrid or genetically modified seed stock, using proper planting methods, monitoring and adjusting pH, cultivating with minimal damage to plants, and practicing good field sanitation. Biological management requires good biological information about the crop, the pests, and the beneficial organisms in the agroecosystem. Farmers can release natural predators such as the trichogramma wasp that deposits larvae in the eggs of pests. They can also release sterile pests such as sterile male screwworms that interrupt successful reproduction in the screwworm population. Physical management involves controlling pests with light and temperature. One interesting physical management method is soil solarization. Before planting takes place, plastic is used as a soil cover to trap solar heat. Over a few weeks, soil temperatures become high enough to kill soil pests down to about 8 inches below the surface. Mechanical management involves managing crop residue by chopping the leaves, stalks, roots, and other plant materials left after a crop has been harvested. This destroys insect hiding places. It also includes trapping pests and hand-pulling weeds to keep crop damage from machinery to a minimum. Chemical management includes pesticides as well as chemicals that regulate growth, ripening, and sterility. Diseases caused by bacteria and fungi are easier to manage with chemicals than diseases caused by viruses. Regulatory management involves government programs and policies, like the Plant Protection Act of 2000, that try to eradicate certain pest populations or at least control them. And now, let's explore the core. Pesticides can damage the ecosystem of a crop field or even a residential lawn, especially if sprays are applied without regard to the presence of wind and water. Pesticide residue can flow as runoff from field to stream and accumulate in the tissues of organisms in the first trophic level of the food chain. Because of biological magnification, these toxins eventually affect predatory populations like birds and humans at the top of the food chain. Biological magnification describes how pollutant residues become concentrated in organisms as they move up the food chain. Producers may have a very small amount of pollutant in their system. A primary consumer eats many producers, and the pollutant becomes more concentrated in the consumer's system. This continues up the food chain until the pollutant in the predatory population is present in a high enough concentration to cause harm to a species. Widespread use of the pesticide DDT provides a specific example of biological magnification. When introduced as a pesticide during World War II, DDT garnered the reputation as the atomic bomb of pesticides. DDT was used extensively during the mid-1900s to control many pest insects, from potato beetles to tobacco budworms, and to kill mosquito larvae that caused diseases like malaria. In the 1960s, problems with DDT became evident. In high concentrations, DDT killed predatory birds like the bald eagle and peregrine falcon. But in smaller concentrations, it was found to cause these birds to lay eggs with thin shells that cracked easily. This resulted in the death of the young chicks. The birds were introduced to the pesticide by eating fish that were exposed to DDT by the smaller fish and plants consumed further down the food chain. As a result of this reproductive disruption, these predatory bird populations began to decline to the point of endangerment to the species. In 1972, DDT was banned for use in the U.S. However, other countries continued to use it until 2001, when it was banned for agricultural use worldwide. Some malaria-infested countries are still sanctioned to use DDT for mosquito control. DDT is in a category of persistent organic pollutants, or POPs, that have been banned under the Stockholm Convention. These toxic substances do not break down easily. They persist in the environment over time and biomagnify in organisms. Today's SAT word is eradicate. To eradicate is to destroy completely. In the lesson, we learned that governments sometimes sponsor policies intended to eradicate, or destroy completely, certain pest populations.